Very good afternoon to all of you, my students. Today, I have decided to talk about Vendor of Sweets, the novel of R.K. Narayan. So there are so many things that we could say, but let's discuss about the themes first. Uh, I'm sure that most of you do Vendor of Sweets, some do Bringing Tony Home. So even though the latter one is Bringing Tony Home is easy to finish off, and it's where the themes are concerned, it's not much, right? But here it's a beautiful novel, and there are many things that you can get as and also like you can gain many advisors, right? So much of advice to your life based on this. So, themes in Vendor of Sweets, when we talk, there are many main themes, a few main themes as well as continuously main and sub themes are also there, right? When we mostly talk about it as normally from the very beginning, they say marriage and money and all that, but actually, when you speak from the beginning, it's tradition versus modernity, modern society as well as traditional society, tradition versus modernity. So when you say talk about Jagan represent traditional Indian values, right, and customs. Mali, the son, modern Western ideas and lifestyle he represents. So, always their attitudes, they are contrasting. Always it creates conflict. When there is contrasting attitude, there is a conflict, obviously. So, and also, even the tradition versus modernity creates the generation gap due to father and son conflict, right? So, differences in values and expectations. Father's expectations, Jagan's expectations are different, and Malisa definitely a contrast. So, Jagan is an overindulgent parent, and it's because of this overindulgent matter, he fails to discipline his son well. And also, after the death of his wife, he was holding such a guilt why she died. It's in vain because he was practicing this natural kind of medication. So that's the reason that she died. So Jagan was having Mali was having complications towards that, and Mali, let's say, hates him for that. So Mali resents his father because of that. And also he rejects his guidance also, right? And also what we see, looks are deceiving, you see, right? Appearance versus reality is there. What you see is not what you really see. Why? What happens outside of the uh, his shop, whereas inside it's something else. Likewise, okay. Jagan appears religious and simple, and also materially. He shows that he's not materialistic, but still, on the other hand, he's materialistic and shrewd, very cunning. His actions are contradictory, and also when you have spiritual beliefs, even though the actions won't go together with it. In his spiritual beliefs, he thinks something and he does something, but well, when he comes to practice, it's a contrast. So again, between fantasy and reality, another problem comes when Mali's dream is to become a writer. It reflects a tension between fantasy and also the reality. So it is the appearance versus reality thing. So it's once you go to write the answer, make these ideas into a small note kind of a thing, it's easier for you. Education and discipline, another theme, where Jagan values education and Jagan wants Mali to complete his studies, but Mali abandons education. Like, it's according to his poor decisions, failures like that. That happens when parents die hard. Sometimes children won't take their course. It happens like that way. The novel highlights the importance of discipline and responsibility. That is one thing. So, and another very interesting thing is the East West conflict and search for identity. Now, Korean American wife, even though she's not the legal wife, Mali is influenced by Western culture after going to America. Right when he went to USA, he's got the influence of the Western culture, and this Hindustani and Hinduism and Gandhianism, it's no more with him. Grace attempts to adapt to Indian culture, even though he's Korean American thing, and it's a mix problem of East West conflict. It happens there likewise. Even we call it as a culture shock also, right? Imagine now some children go to Germany and Germany is taught at home they speak in Sinhala, and in other classes they speak in English. Sometimes mother speaks in English, father Sinhalese, like that. Language and culture shock is there. So even Grace, it's a bit of a problem. And anyway, Grace attempts to adapt to Indian culture with the difficulty. And also, all these characters struggle to balance Eastern traditions and Western values. Okay, so human relations and hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is always all around the globe, not only with Asians, right? Relationships are often strained by misunderstandings and selfishness. Okay, and the Kasin and Jagan sometimes display hypocrisy, but Kasin has been always very helpful to the whole thing. Human behavior is with a deep complexity in the novel. So human relations and hypocrisy is also there. And money and materialism comes as another theme. Chagan accumulates wealth despite his spiritual image. Money and materialism. Jagan talks about spiritualism mostly, but where he accumulates all his wealth despite his spiritual image. That is what looks are deceiving. Appearance versus reality is likewise. So, money and materialism comes there. Mali uses his father's money for his own ambitions. And also, novel contrasts material wealth as well as a spiritual fulfillment. And now we go to women and marriage. So, normally Jagan's marriage, it had followed traditionals and customs, where Indian traditions and traditional ways and customs. Mali completely rejects traditions by living with Grace without a marriage, right? Now, when Jagan got to know about it, he was ashamed, furious, so uneasy, whereas he was practicing this Gandhian principle and all sorts of Bhagavad Gita concepts and all that, whereas he found out his house became dirty because of that unlawful marriage. I mean, they are not legally married, right? So, traditional and modern attitudes towards marriage, it's very much it is show, right? So, it was a drastic issue for Jagan when he found out that Mali is not married, likewise. And also, he had a respect towards Grace that also little bit diminished due to that, right? And also, Gandhism. Jagan follows many Gandhian principles such as simplicity and self discipline, whereas Mali kicked them out. No simplicity, no self discipline, nothing like that way. However, even though this Gandhianism and Gandhism things were practiced by Jagan, his business practices something contradictory. That is the thing, right? And no Gandhian ideals are there in the business. The novel questions the practical application of Gandhism, right? No practical application is there, even though the simplicity, calmness, and also self discipline, that is nothing there where Jagan's uh, inner side conflicts are concerned. And also, even his shop, it's not what he praises, it's something else inside. And also, mechanization and technology. You see, the writer should be able to write very well, whereas Mali, story writing machine, symbolizes dependence on technology. Technology is, imagine if you get a question, how does the modern technology uh, effect affect to the towards the concepts of vendor of sweets themes or concepts of vendor of sweets, you can definitely make it into into the way that you write based on this, right? Technology is not an enemy, but technology is not always, or not always, a blessing, right? It is a blessing, right? But it is not always a good thing. So story writing machine symbolizes dependence on technology. Too much dependence of technology is a problem. And also this mechanization, due to that, creativity and human talents are sacrificed, right? No creation. You always depend on the machine and the technology. The theme criticizes blind faith in modern technology. It's a drastic thing to say, right? Blind theme in modern technology. Okay. And also, finally, it's good versus evil. Jagan generally represents goodness, morality, and spiritual growth. Mali's selfishness and irresponsibility represent negative values. Whatever you give positive, it comes as positive. When negative sin, you end up in failure. The It has been always a conflict between the right and wrong. It runs right throughout the novel. Okay, so when I sum it up, as I said, tradition versus modernity, appearance versus reality, generation gap is definitely a must, you should say, father son conflict, and also education and discipline, east west conflict, search for identity, human relations and hypocrisy, and also we go as money and materialism is one of the themes, women and marriage, Gandhiism is there, and mechanization and technology. Finally, last but not the least, good versus evil. Every novel, every story, it is there. So there are many themes as such. So once you write the answers for the questions, we will be discussing a question soon in my next video, definitely about vendor of sweets. I'll come back to you very soon. And I'm coming from Sunmit House of Literature from my YouTube channel. You're most welcome again. I'm reminding you to comment, give your details, or join my online classes, and also to subscribe my channel Sunmit House of Literature. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon. So we'll see you soon. I'll see you very soon again. Thank you.